Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we are going to take a deep dive into the upcoming super full moon lunar eclipse that's occurring on September 17th or 18th, depending on where you live in the world. So we're going to take a look at each life path number to see how these energies could affect you in the months that follow. Remember that an eclipse opens us up to a storyline or a new chapter that will likely unfold over the coming 6 months to a year. So this is a progressive energy that we'll be working with, but at the time of the eclipse, we should have a pretty good indication of what that storyline is. This particular eclipse, I love the energy that we're going to be working with. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very supportive. So I'm really looking forward to breaking down each life path number. One thing that I wanted to introduce with this moon reading is the animal wisdom messages, but they're going to be a little bit different than what I do for the month ahead. What I wanted to do is for the illumination is offer sort of a mantra word that you can use that's going to be driven by one of the animal spirits that come through. So it's not going to be quite as detailed as the month ahead animal wisdom messages, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring those in as well. And what better time to start than a super full moon lunar eclipse? Yay! Before we get into it, if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. For some reason, with the algorithm, a lot of times the only way you're going to know if I release a video is if you've hit the bell, and then you'll be sure to be notified when that video is released. The other thing is, of course, this is a general forecast. So if you want to take a look at your own personal numerology to get the best idea for how these vibrations and, your own personal numerology are working for you, then the best way to do that is, of course, to have a reading, and you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below if you choose to do that. Okay, enough housekeeping. Let's get into it. Oh, my beautiful 33 sixes. I always love reading for you all because it always tends to be more philosophical, like so much about your energy and the vibrations that you tend to work with. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, so you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 55, so 505. And it's very interesting to me because this eclipse is happening in the sign of Pisces. In astrology. And the vibration of the 50 is actually the third decan of Pisces. So how fitting. So you're definitely going to be feeling those strong Piscean themes. So I would say definitely pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your strong emotions, the way you feel, your call to, the more spiritual realm. The channel is going to be probably wide open for you all at this time. I mean, I know it's pretty wide open most of the time, but this is definitely going to be one of those times where it could get a little weird, right? Because, there's also, if we look at the astrology, there's also some connections to Neptune. So could get a little bit just very, very deep, very, very rose-colored glasses, but also very beautiful. So just, this is fantastic energy. Okay, so I would also say, if you don't already do this, this would be a great time to definitely over the next 6 months from this eclipse, write down any of those bigger visions, any of your dreams that you remember when you wake up, because you might not know what it means now, but you will likely figure it out over the coming 6 months to a year. And it could be quite significant. So it's always interesting because when we move into Pisces season, not even Pisces season, but when there's like a full moon around Pisces, my dreams get very, very vivid. And it's almost like when I go to bed, I just want to take the popcorn to bed because I'm like watching a show. It's so interesting. And they're not usually or necessarily profound dreams or prophetic, but it's just like just such an adventure. So Oh, it's always around the Pisces moon. So anyway, so you might find that to be the case again, especially around this eclipse, but definitely over the next 6 months. So pay attention to what comes in for you all, and especially those intuitive hits. Oh my gosh, will probably be just off the chain for the next 6 months. So enjoy it. This is definitely for you all, and I know you already have that very strong psychic, intuitive, sort of innateness, right? Like that's already a part of your being. I mean, it's a part of everyone's, but for you all, it's just very, very much just an open channel. But I think it's definitely going to be a strong period for psychic and intuitive hits. So definitely pay attention to what comes in for you all at this time. However, what's interesting about this 55 vibration is that it does bring in this this focus in the areas within the human experience, so the more practical side of things that needs the developing and the attention. And it's interesting because, as a 33-6, so much of what you all are meant to sort of step into and work with, etc., is very ethereal. It's very much like the unseen. It's the feeling, right? It's that it's so ethereal. And so it can be easy to try to bypass or not pay as much attention to the actual human experience. And, because the human experience can be very challenging, especially for a 33-6. So I find it interesting because the vibration of the 50 is saying all of this other stuff is going to be going on. All of these psychic hits and intuitive downloads will absolutely be happening. It's kind of like you're entering a little bit of a circus during this period where there's a lot of like sensory overload, right? So there's a lot going on in the ether, but there's also a lot going on in the 3D to pay attention to. So I do think that there's going to be a strong focus here on the human experience, the practical side, and those areas within the practical side that really needs your focus, your energy, and your attention in order to develop those areas of your life. So this is going to be a great opportunity to sort of combine the logical and the more practical ways of thinking with that intuition to get the most out of the experience now. So you could find that in the areas of life where you might be, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but like where you might be sort of spiritual bypassing yourself out of this human experience, you might be called to, or you might kind of see that experience, that very human, like physical experience, keep coming up in your face to really bring you back to your body and into the present moment, to really experience what it is that you're meant to experience so that you can get the most out of it and gain the most wisdom from it. Because there's likely areas, and this I would say for any human, right? But especially for 33-6s, there are definitely areas where you would excel on the spiritual plane, of course, right? But I mean, even when you're in human form. But there's areas within the human experience that are begging for your attention that you might be overlooking because it's too difficult to sort of stand in that space, right? And this energy is helping you to merge the two, right? To really bring that very strong spiritual side of yourself into this very physical experience and to be able to merge the two so that you can get the best results. And it's interesting because that's such a big part of the 33 experience. You are meant to sort of step into that higher octave of your higher self and then bring that down into this very physical, human, heavier experience and find a way to beautify the experience, not only for self, but for others as well through your presence alone. So just a lot going on here. But don't be surprised if you are kind of pulled back into sort of the physical body, right? And what I mean by that is, and you probably know what I'm saying with this, right? Because you've probably experienced it as a 33-6. But I know for myself, from my own personal experience, especially when I am when I'm in a difficult situation, it's so much easier for me to sort of go out of body, right? To become the observer and to not really be in the experience and experiencing it because it's much easier to kind of go to that higher level and, again, sort of spiritual bypass myself. So I don't have to really truly feel and experience what this earthly plane is asking me to experience. And sometimes we can just do that by default, right? So the 50 is saying, no, you got to experience it, but then you can also merge it with that spiritual aspect to get the most out of the experience, right? So it's not just going to hold you back and hold you down. It's actually you're going to get the most out of it and be able to do the most with it. Be mindful of any strong, aggressive reactions. And again, I'm really talking about, when we're very much in our physical body, we're very much going to feel strong emotions. We are emotive beings. And so sometimes we can react. And so I would say during this period, for sure, just be mindful of any strong aggressions or strong emotional reactions at this time, because that's not going to serve anyone, including you. Just be mindful of any charged emotions at this time. Really find a way to take action to funnel that energy into something more constructive. And there are plenty of ways to do that, right? The other thing I would say with this energy, bringing it back to sort of the more positive, is that there's going to be many opportunities potentially for endless fulfillment, endless joy, and a sense of purpose under this vibration. So it really is like this light vibration, but it also sort of forces us to find the balance between those two energies, if that makes sense, right? But when we can do that, the outcome or the reward is often great. And the fact that this is happening under an eclipse just really intensifies it, to the nth degree. But as always, right, your personal choices, your actions, your perspectives will always, always, always dictate what that looks like for you, right? So in other words, this vibration is like the 10 of Cups in tarot. That energy is there, right? The cups are there, but you have to fill those cups before you can drink from them. So beautiful energy. The other thing I will say is your animal sort of mantra for this eclipse. Someone else got this. I can't remember which number, but it's so fitting. It's so fitting. It's hawk energy. And the word or the mantra is graceful persistence. Graceful persistence. Give yourself grace, give others grace. You're going to do great, and keep persevering because you're going to do great. All right. Take care. Bye for now.